Welcome, race fans, back to SVR and the Premier Division here at SVR of the Formula race cars, the Super Formula 23 that the drivers will be driving today in this 2025 VR Sim Racing World Championship. My name is Webbo, here to join you for the race as usual. Qualifying is about to get underway, and greetings to everyone who has already taken the time to say hello in the live chat. I'm going to try and monitor it as best I can. Hi to Nexium and to Lord Top Hat and everybody else who has decided to spend this time on Sunday with us. This is the way things look for the Teams Championship in qualifying. We have for this qualifying event after round 7, it is Coach Dave who lead the championship, but by 1 point over 2 further teams. Absolutely astonishing. Coach Dave on 160, Kimmy's down to 159, joint second with DeLessi, and Mega Racing aren't far away, just 6 from the outright lead of the championship in 4th place. Those 4 teams absolutely owning this particular sector of our racing. And JPI then have 96. They've been struggling for drivers and have some drivers who are reserving today. I see Flash has arrived to take part in today's race. Brokaga are in 6th place, just 2 points away from Jamplacht Interiors, and Berkestein have 79 points at the tail of the standings at the moment. Beregoz leads the championship then on 123 points ahead of Vader. This is shaping up to be quite an amazing battle between the two. Beregoz has Podium scored every single round so far. Vader has missed a round but has more wins to Beregoz 4 to Beregoz's 2. And so this does look like it's going to be a case of who shows up to race for us here. And that's going to be absolutely key as we enter the second half of our championship. We have got, of course, BaloFey, or BaloFey as you may know him, who is racing and scoring in 3rd position so far. Another driver frequently on the podium, although the win has eluded BaloFey at this stage of the season. Arya drops down to 4th place, our other winner so far, and I think won't be taking part. No, not today. Replaced today by Skycloud, who has won in the GT3 cars. So that's going to be very interesting to see. We've got Soulshock in 5th place on 73 with Vicinity, the Stig, and Scavy in 6th, 7th, and 8th places. The remaining places made up of Senor Dude, QT, Joe Gonsim, Yank the Tank, Bedsty, Mario Wogrizzle, and Redux, who has only recently stepped up properly here and will now be competing today as well. We do have a driver introduction video for you, but I'm afraid it's probably going to be woefully out of date at this stage of the position. So we're just hanging on. One driver has had to do a restart, I believe, so we've just had to just hang on for a moment or two. We're going to get ourselves into qualifying very soon, but yeah, you can see how the championship battle has ebbed and flowed on our website, which is on info.svr-racing.com. So make sure that you have a look there. I've dropped a link in the chat as well to show when you can choose from your favorite drivers' point of views on a separate screen, and all drivers who are choosing to stream today should be able to access that through their profile link on the website. And you can see then just how that performance has ebbed and flowed throughout the season. We'll have a quick look, shall we, at the master standings as things are at the moment in terms of the teams. That was actually the drivers, don't do that. So Mega Racing lead on 796 points overall. DeLessi have 783. Mega Racing versus DeLessi. Not just in the AN division, but throughout the entire Master Championship here. We're waiting for everybody to make sure that they all check in and get everything together. I think we've got every driver has managed to connect at the moment. Kimmy's racing team are in 3rd place ahead of Bergstein Racing. And then a quick look at the drivers' combined standings. You can see Empire, Pat Finn, Senor Fac, Beregoz, The only non-Delesi, non-Mega driver inside that top 7 is, of course, Vader on 119 points total. And Pat Finn is scoring 134, Empire 142 so far. But yes, we're looking forward to seeing the S2 race later in the week, usually a Thursday at 7 p.m. UK. The S2 and AN divisional races will be released with a little bit of luck. And we are about to go into our session. So hopefully you guys are all ready. Hi to Sparky, hi to AJ, here to cheer on their respective drivers. Anyone who hasn't said hello yet, please make yourselves known, and we will get you there. And we are about to get underway for the qualifying. It looks like a race. It's not a race. It just looks like one. And I'm going to make sure that we choose a driver for you to watch picture in picture as well. I can't always see exactly what's happening picture in picture, but you guys can. So I'll do my best for you to give you the richest experience possible. Thanks to Beregoz and all of our supporters here for making our racing possible with the likes of Hector. And we get ready then for this qualifying session. My audio has gone absolutely crazy, so my feed is just crazy loud, so that's going to get turned down. Okay, seems to happen every single time. So it looks like qualifying then is underway for the S1 Championship, Kyoto Driving Park, the Yamagiwa forwards configuration that we're looking forward to, of course. And they are away then with Flash taking the lead position here. Usually that's down to the fact that we've got drivers who have different driver ratings. Beregoz is not super keen to let Flash get completely away from him here. I'm going to have to turn on some information for myself here to try and make sure that I can keep up with what's going on. Things are changing all the time throughout qualifying. But this is Flash then leading the way through into turn 6. They then have a slight kink before turning all the way down, dropping downhill like crazy down towards the chicane of turn 7 here, 8 and 9, staying off the curbs at this stage, just protecting those soft tyres like their lives depend on it at the moment, as you would expect, of course. But yes, the driver's just winding up, getting ready. Beregoz has gone for the position, so he is clearly not here to mess around. Doesn't want to lose that position. So yeah, doing what he needs to do for his championship positioning. And we will ride on board with Beregoz, who goes very, very wide through the final corner, turn 14, down the start-finish straight to start his first flying lap. Then the drivers probably can only get 1 or 2 flying laps out of a set of soft tyres. So it's basically essentially 2-shot qualifying, absolutely flat out through turn 1 on soft tyres with light fuel on board the cars, and they will keep that foot pinned all the way through here, just relying on the downforce of the cars, of course, until they head down towards turn 6. I think this might stay flat as well, certainly on turn in. That's absolutely crazy. I haven't actually seen an SF23 through here, and that is the first half of the lap, completely pinned, foot to the floor. Finally, hopefully, we will break eventually, and he gets the front end in. Absolutely pinpoint through that first chicane. Very bumpy chicanes here, and then we will start to slow down for these 2 hairpins on the circuit, all the way down to first gear. Short shift up, because the first gear is very easy to make a mistake on. You can see Flash in the mirror just behind here. Blink and you miss it through the chicane for Beregoz at this early stage. He is flying here on this lap through turn 14, out of the final corner. And what is his time going to be? Beregoz manages to put in a 1:14.155, excuse me, a second faster than Flash, but Vader quickly, even faster still, Vader a 13.6. That is quite something. Skycloud is racing and has put in a time of just 2.5 tenths of a second away. Whoa, Grizzle is quick initially into second place, a 14.130 to Beregoz's 1.4.155. BaloFey a 14.255. Flash is actually 9/10 away from the top four's pace. Skycloud not far away from Flash, and then throughout the rest of the order you've got Soulshock, Joe, Senor Dude, Radux, Vicinity, Bedsty Mario, Yank the Tank, and Scavvy. We will join Yank the Tank on the picture-in-picture, and we are currently riding with Joe Gone Sim. He has, I think that's Soulshock in front. Soulshock has Skycloud in front of him, and it's actually looking quite congested at this point on the track, so it's certainly going to be quite difficult for the drivers. Vader is going quickly again, I think this is Vader. No, he's heading into the pit lane. Well, he was actually purple through a couple of those sectors, but everybody peeling off into the pit lane, try and get a new set of soft tyres on the cars. In we go, everybody doing the same thing. No one is risking staying out here. I think all of their laps are getting worse and worse by the minute as they run through. This is Senor Dude. Redux is going to stay out and go for an extra lap. He's looking to the left, thinking, where is everybody? And this is going to be problematic for Redux. He has gone for the stealth matte black helmet design here, Redux, to merge into his car. And there's the unicorn on the back of the car as well. Obviously, the Yamplacht interiors drivers get free choice as to how they decorate the back of their rear wing, the message they wish to send other drivers. I've seen Nice Try, I've seen Adios, and here I've seen a unicorn. I'm not quite sure what that is signifying. But down we go then, riding on board with Redux, number 45. Redux is yellow throughout this lap at the moment, unfortunately for him. So looking like he's not going to be able to improve. We'll try and find you a driver. I think it looks like BaloFey at this stage. There is Vader. I want to be sure. Yeah, that is Vader. Okay, let's ride. Excuse me. Let's ride on board with Vader for his flying lap. The driver in front is relatively close here. This is going to be a tough battle through the course of this session. Vader, very undramatic first part of the circuit here. The drivers, the SF23 drivers, really have very little to do. Looking to use some of their overtake allowance as well, I'm sure. 13,000 miles on Vader's SF23. So late on the brakes, and the way the front end responds is absolutely incredible. There we go then. Actually looking like we're catching the driver in front. We have got two purple mini sectors on this lap. It looks like it's Beregoz in front, who's on personal best, but Vader extending here and gaining something of a slipstream. Wow, absolute, like the crack of a whip through the second chicane down into the final hairpin, turn 16. Or is it 14? I think it's 14. I think I'm talking rubbish. It's 14. I created two extra corners, almost touching the pit lane entry point. And Vader goes faster still. Now it's a 112.690. BaloFey gets himself into third place. Here comes Skycloud. What can she do? Skycloud stays sixth on this lap. Joe Gone Sim moves up to fifth position, 0.8 of a second away from the car in front. Soulshock is reading at the moment. Soulshock in 9th position. Everybody else coming into the pits. Redux is on his next flying lap. Just going to keep my eye on the other drivers as Vader's set one purple mini sector, and then everything else is worse here for the rest of the session. This is Redux. He is currently in 12th position. You've got Yank the Tank on your picture-in-picture with his multi-camera setup, of course. Looking really good here for Redux. Personal bests, almost every mini sector so far. Looks like Vader can't improve, neither can Beregoz, BaloFey either. I think they'll be parking up or heading into the pits again. The time's 1:12. They might get a third set of tyres out of this run. I can't be entirely sure. I'll have to just change my screen settings in order to see that. But Redux still personal best at this stage as the fuel burns away. Great response at the back end of the car on the way out of the final corner. Redux was 12th. Redux jumps to 7th position. Tremendous run as we've got several drivers in the pits. Beregoz is on his outlap. I'm just going to check to see. I know we don't like seeing all the details, but it's 8 minutes and 44 seconds remain of the qualifying. I think Beregoz will be able to get an extra lap in here. This is joining Beregoz on board. The another driver has made a mistake just alongside. Let's join, I think, BaloFey here, picture in picture, as he's in P3, and we'll see how his times are looking. Beregoz has one more stab at it here, this stage. See the halo, and the drivers hardly spend any time looking directly straight here. Even on the straights, you're looking through to your braking points, through to the next corner's apex or exit. So the halo, not a big deal, as you can see on board with BaloFey. Beregoz starts his next lap. Vader is coming out, but I can't see how Vader gets around to start a final lap before the checkered flag. This is Beregoz on fumes of the fuel. Skycloud into the pits as well. Your order is Vader 12.6, Beregoz 13.6. So Vader has a 1 second advantage at this stage. Beregoz still isn't matching Vader, even though the first sector is basically flat out. What is Vader doing that is so right through this this track? This Kyoto Driving Park, Yamagiwa. Oh, it's getting very aggressive, Beregoz, through the lap here. He has just one blue sector for personal best. No one is getting purple times here. BaloFey has a slightly better time on the lap, I think, than Beregoz. BaloFey could end up with getting Beregoz here for the front row. It is there's a huge range of strategies available to the drivers as well, thanks to the short pit lane. Beregoz out of the final corner. I don't think he's going to improve by much. If he does, it's a 13.6 still. That was a 13.5, excuse me. Here comes Bolide towards the line. Our Italian racer. What can he do? He gets 0.2 of a second. It's a 13.5 himself as well. But he is. And he gets that second place. He gets the front row. Here comes Jogon Sim. Here comes Vicinity. Vicinity in 13th. Jogon Sim registering a 7th position start at the moment. Skycloud currently in 9th. Debuting in the S1 division. Skycloud goes P9. Skycloud going to be the first driver to win in every single car, I believe, just like Pat Finn. But astonishing there for the drivers. That was Vader on top. Ignore what we're looking at here on the screen. Vader securing the pole position ahead of BaloFey, Beregoz, and Woe Grizzle with Flash, Bedsty Mario, Redux, Joe. Shout out to Flash there for a fantastic drive in the SF23. Not normal for him, this car. Then Joe, Senor Dude, Skycloud, Soulshock, Yank the Tank, Scavvy, Vicinity, and Redux, making up the 14 drivers in the field. Amazing racing from everybody there. I'm going to do my best to try and get you the qualifying results here. Let me see what I can do. And I should be able to show you that in grid form. So bear with me. Just a slight adjustment here. Here we go. So that is tremendously quick, actually, from here. This is the Kyoto Driving Park qualifying session results. Vader with a 12.6. BaloFey making it within a second of Vader, but the writing appears to be on the wall for our S1 drivers here. Vader with an 0.8 of a second gap over P2 and P3. So Vader and BaloFey sharing the front row of the grid. Beregoz is in 3rd place with Woe Grizzle in 4th. Flash with Bedsty Mario. Redux, Jogon Sim with Senor Dude. Skycloud, Soulshock, Yank the Tank, Scavvy, and Vicinity. Redux should be in this group as well. There he is. He's actually come through in 7th place. So I think he was missing from our Hector view. So Redux managing that 7th. That puts Vicinity right at the back. Obviously didn't get a lap in. It's 3 seconds away from the fastest Yank. Scavvy and Vicinity all with a similar situation there on the times. Now what I need to do is introduce our drivers as they started, shall we say, our fabulous season here at SVR. Well, we can't wait for the race to get underway. I'll just remind you grid here. So we have Vader and BaloFey with Beregoz and Woe Grizzle starting the race. We have got Heighton Nexium who says, does SkyCloud stream? I don't think so. Certainly hasn't connected her Twitch to our Hector system just yet, but yeah, we'll have to try and get in touch with SkyCloud and try and make sure that happens, because obviously there is an ask for that. Sparky saying good qualifying from Joe for P8, absolutely, but there is unfortunately quite a significant gulf between Vader especially, but the top three do appear to be the favourites here today, you'd have to say, as long as everything goes as swiftly as possible. So we're saying the wind is a major element today. This is the information I had prior. Sometimes it can affect the laps by up to a second. We're looking at a south westerly 3.6 meters per second wind at the moment. So we're just getting everybody ready for the race. It looks like it's going to be 47 laps, not endurance. It's going to be a 47 lap race for the driver. That should still be in the region of an hour. So everyone is doing whatever they can to protect the front right tyre here. So certainly Beregoz told me ahead that we need to just make sure that everybody is just trying to protect that front right, although it is so tempting to go flat out through the corners. It might be a short shift up, but it tends to be better to attack the latter part of turns 1 and turns 6, especially, maybe also coming out of those slower hairpins, particularly the final corner. I know it's so tempting to push hard on the way through. Yeah, so in terms of strategy, We are looking at a possible 1-stop apparently, a quick 2-stop, and a 3-stop might even be the fastest way through. Red's asking if he missed something. This is just the qualifying grid as things stand. Red, we've done qualifying. We're just waiting for everybody to come in and get themselves together. We've got Flash here in S1. I think for the first time in the SF23 with us, with Bedsty Mario in 6th place. Redux then 7th, Jogon Sim, strong qualifying in 8th. Senior Dude, Skycloud, Soulshock, Young the Tank, Scavvy, and Vicinity. Skycloud doing double duty today, was in the AN divisional race as well, which I'll be calling later in the week. Look out for that release on Thursday evening UK time and Europe time, obviously Thursday afternoon in the rest of our Americas west of the Atlantic. So we're all ready to get underway then. Looks like, well, Soulshot gave the ready up. Redux said I'm supposed to be 7th in qualifying, so I think that wasn't quite sorted out for him. So hopefully he'll get there momentarily. Go Kimmies, says Red. And he has obviously got Skycloud and Soulshock in. So looking forward to seeing how everybody does here. Just got information from Flash to say the grid is wrong. I'm just looking at what I can see. I can't see what's super wrong about it, but I guess it's the Redux question here. Matt just resetting the grid for everybody. So our session hosts doing everything to the best of their ability. It is a tricky thing, and I would still love us to go back to using qualifying, honestly, in the sessions, because we wouldn't have these delays. But thank you for bearing with us. Do make sure that you take a look. I hope you've had a look at the QR codes. I'll show them on the screen briefly in a moment, and then you can find out the shops, the website. So SVR shop and also my merch store. A big thank you to Senior Dude for the graphics of the starting menu today. Okay, folks, we are about to get underway. The good luck messages are all coming in. That usually means that they know something I don't. So hopefully we're about to get ourselves underway for the race. Looking forward to this one. I hope you all are too. And yeah, we shall be trackside momentarily, of course, for this race at Kyoto Driving Park. This is round 8 of the championship. We are into the second half of our championship now, of course. We'll be heading over to Austria and the Red Bull Ring for the next round of the championship. Slight change to proceedings next time out, but we'll get into that towards the end of the race. Hopefully, I will be able to talk you through that one. The drivers are ready for the start. We've got Vader on the front row with BaloFey alongside him on the inside line in the run into the corner. Round 8, Kyoto Driving Park for the S1 division is about to begin for SVR. And it's dropped the clutch, and it's go, go, go. Vader getting a nice launch initially. BaloFey right with him. We've got some three-wide action on the midfield, on the Brokaga team going wheel to wheel as they go through the next few corners. Flash in 5th position. Mario in 6th, and now it's about to get very, very tight and twisty with the sparks flying all the way through the rest of the field as they snake their way through the snake of 2, 3, 4 and 5 heading down towards turn 6. Remember, the drivers, almost all of them will be going pretty flat out here, holding 5th gear around into the grass. That's absolutely astounding stuff from Senor Dude as he goes through there. I might try and clip or be able to watch this back again later on, but side by side with number 53, Betsy Mario here, a Mexican racer who gets the inside line for Brokaga. That puts Senor Dude well offline. He's got Jogon Sim who's got up the inside. Here comes Jogon Sim to the inside. Skycloud's going for a move on Redux in the background as well. It's fantastic in the midfield. Vader and BaloFey are still in the lead of the race with Beregoz in 3rd position, but it is absolutely anybody's guess as they run towards the final corner of this first lap, and it's Skycloud into the wall. No damage on Skycloud's car, but clearly some issue there on the way through. Let's try and get you a decent replay of this one. Here comes Skycloud coming into the chicane. Late cut back, unsighted into the corner. Very lucky there not to get any damage on that first excursion. But Vader leads us by 1.5 seconds after 1.1 laps even. Absolutely astounding as BaloFey's on the medium tyres. He's got Beregoz also on the mediums right behind him, tucked up into the dirty air on the way through turn 6. Absolutely frenetic stuff from our fastest drivers here. There goes Beregoz. He's just about got the inside line, going down into the first chicane and completing the move. Fantastically clear move there from Beregoz. Just jinked to enough of a maneuver there to get through. Medium tyres on all 3 of our front group. Vader, Beregoz, BaloFey. Hard tyres for Flash, who's seemingly holding up Woe Grizzle at this point. Flash in the black and gold Yamplacked Interiors car. Woe Grizzle in the black and green Brokaga here, now powered by Jaguar power, I believe, in their SF23s, with teammate Betsy Mario also on the medium tyres directly behind. The medium and hard tyres are the required tyres. No, a change of compound is required, excuse me. A change of compound is required, but they have free choice across the compounds to make the best available race that they possibly can. This is brilliant to see. We've got Soulshock and Vicinity going wheel to wheel. Soulshock round the outside, holding on, I think, to P12. Vicinity in 13th place, and I think we should probably show you some picture-in-picture action. Here is Skycloud hassling the back of former team captain when she reserved for Team Mega, Vicinity. So Skycloud, all of that former allegiance out of her mind, screaming towards the inside line, going through turn 6, but not quite making the move here on Vicinity. You could just see the Venturi air effect on the back wing as Skycloud dipped down into the drop on the way down into turn 7. This is the leaders. Vader ahead of Beregoz. Beregoz trying to pin Vader's ascendancy here, but it's still building. It's now 1.6 seconds at this point. Beregoz now, it's a championship fight between these two, and he'll be super relieved to get by BaloFey, who's showing fantastic pace in this circuit and this portion of the season. He puts in a personal best on the end of lap 3. This is Flash. You get a great look at his helmet as well. We don't often get to see all of the details of Flash's helmet, but there it is in P4. Grizzle in 5th, Betsy Mario in 6th, Jogon Sim in 7th. Back to Yank the Tank that you're watching. Picture in picture, we have Redux Scavvy. Then coming through, we've got the second of the Coach Dave cars, Senor Dude, who's in P11. Behind him, Soul Shock catching. Soul Shock starting on the hard tyres and showing good pace at this point, 16.999, his third lap. Back to Vicinity and Skycloud. Well, that's just opened up that gap a little bit. Vicinity getting himself into a bit of a rhythm. Skycloud really suffering after that off-track excursion through the second chicane of lap 1. But I'm sure this is not all that is to be written about Skycloud's race. Absolutely quality, super talented and hard-working driver, Skycloud, and it's great to have her be part of our league. It's BaloFey in 3rd place. Flash reserving up here into S1. He's usually a G1 driver, so you can't imagine a more different handling sequence of cars there for everybody. And I hope everyone is enjoying the coverage so far. Sparky said he liked the splash screen. That was from Senor Dude. All credit to Senor Dude. A little tip of the hat to Dirtbag Larry as well for his efforts in refining that with Senor Dude. Obviously working hard as a Coach Dave pairing. This is Jogon Sim. Let's join the chase cam behind Jogon Sim and try and see his options that are available to him at the moment. Closest battle on the grid here. This is for P6 on lap 5 of the 47. Jogon Sim unable to really go for the move, but Bedsty Mario missing the apex into the first part of the first chicane. Jogon Sim will take that invitation. He's got elected to go to the outside here. Obviously going to have to try and go the long way round. Well, he tried the cutback, but unfortunately just went too deep into the corner. Jogon Sim losing a little bit of traction coming through there. So let's go to the tail of the field then, because things are getting spicy down there. We've got Soul Shock, Senor Dude. Whoa, and we've got Scavvy in the mix as well. Skycloud waiting to pick up the pieces, but it's Soul Shock actually on the hard tyres, who seemingly is on the aggressive side now and starting to consider a move up. There's a red light on the pit lane entry there. I don't think that's fair. I think the drivers can pit whenever they want. I'm not quite sure what the red light is indicating on the entry to the pit lane. This is Skycloud down the inside on Vicinity. She's been very patient with that move, but on the hard tyres, making her way then through from the back of the grid. You've also then, as I said before, got Soul Shock. He's got 7 tenths, just under, maybe 6 tenths now to Scavvy in front. Behind him, 7 tenths gap to Senor Dude. This is fantastic to see everybody here racing hard. Just one little minor off-track moment for Skycloud, but no damage, and I don't think anybody actually came to blows going through what was a tremendously difficult section of the first lap. You've got Yank the Tank here in P8. You're watching his POV. He's following Jogon Sim, and it's Joe who was on the looking to beat making the move, but after just running wide through the first hairpin, Joe has been unable to get back in touch with Bedsty Mario. Yank the Tank powers out of the final corner, and we'll be hoping for a good slipstream then on the way through. You can just about see Jogon Sim on Yank's feed on the lower right of your screen, and we're still absolutely nose to tail at the rear portion of the race so far. I was going to say the back of the grid, but really these drivers are anything but slow or back markers. Soul Shock in P11. He was driving in the GT3s last week as well, so he's obviously compromised a bit of practice time. There's not a huge amount of practice to do in the first sector and a half of this racetrack. It's practicing keeping your right foot down. A bit like Tokyo was actually for us here at the Expressway. And less said about that race meet, the better, I think. I think that's going to be a very happy, distant memory in the drivers' minds at the moment. Scavvy in P10 going through that first chicane. We've still got some close racing further up the grid. Grizzle now in 11th, closing in on Flash. Flash, our highest A+ rated driver, who must have the patience of a saint to do that in the daily races and weekly competitions on Gran Turismo. And this beautiful Brokaga machine, now powered by Jaguar, is chasing down Flash. Flash on the hard tyres, but Grizzle's front right is looking very, very poor. It's absolutely incredible, the difference in wear across the SF23 tyre wear here. If they could find an ultra hard tyre to fit just on that front right, I think the drivers would do it. It's very, very tricky. Of course, we don't allow split tyre decisions here in SVR at the moment. Anyway, Solshock, we're unlocking a few setup options. The drivers are now using both natural frequency and ride height to change the dynamics of their car and try and help them to better and better levels of performance in S1. Reminder, this is a 47-lap race. Beregoz has pitted, the first, I think, of the scheduled pit stops, and that is an unusual one there for me. Beregoz very, very early on into the pits. Was talking potentially about a possible one stop here, but thinking that the two stop was going to be the quicker of the options. Leading this group at the moment, you've got, I think, that is Scavy in the Buckstein Transport Service car, from Solshock, from Senor Dude, from Skycloud, and Vicinity, locked in battle, which is exactly what we want to see. We don't want to see anybody stuck at the back of the grid here. There is Vicinity. Joe Gonsim... Sorry, Joe. Joe pitted, that's why he's at the back, so that's nothing to do with Joe's pace today. It's been fantastic. Vader's lead is 6.7 seconds over the former third place, now second place driver, BaloFey, and three great rivals from three great racing nations, Spain, Italy, and Finland. And you can see Flash having Beregoz coming out just behind him here. They're both on the same compound at the moment. Flash started on the hard tyres, and then Beregoz will be hoping not to get caught up into the rhythm of Flash's current speed. By rights, you feel. I think we may have had an overtake there. I think that was possibly Solshock. Let's go back to Solshock. Here we go. Down into the inside. The door was open. In fact, Senor Dude was tempted to go for the move. Solshock looks like he's managed to get himself out of the following corner ahead. And just before they get into that second chicane, Solshock ahead. So that's Scavy dropping down 2 positions, losing out to Senor Dude, and now Skycloud down the inside. She's enjoying that maneuver, I think, at this stage, and trying to tuck up into the slipstream of Senor Dude in front. Absolutely ferocious speed as the drivers fly over our camera position. That's Skycloud up to P9, and I think Solshock probably just pitted there during just after making that move. Here they are, locked in battle once again. Senor Dude kind of holding them up at this stage. Here comes Skycloud once again to the inside. A little touch on the wheels as they come through the corner. Skycloud in 8th position. So dangerous for these drivers, with Senor Dude now in 9th and Scavy in 10th position. So the hard tyres are performing fantastically here in comparison to the mediums. Suddenly things are happening for those hard runners. We've missed Beregoz. Unfortunately, Beregoz has got by Flash. Let's see if that was within the replay buffer here. Oh, sadly not. He'd already got the job done, potentially into the first of our hairpins. But we have again, very, very close running here. Skycloud 8, Senor Dude 9, Scavy 10th, Vicinity in 11th place. And then you've got some drivers who have made pit stops. Here comes Scavy. Well, it's Vicinity around the outside of Scavy. That's the hard tyre traction over the medium tyre. Scavy's protecting that front right really well. I wonder if he's actually trying to do that one-stop strategy, as we're Grizzle down into 12th place after his pit stop. Joe Gonsim in 13th place. Solshock down in 14th. Vader leads by 7.1 seconds and has very similar front tyre wear to BaloFey. Pretty sure most of the drivers here will be using high front downforce, fairly low to the rear, so the car has a tendency to oversteer. That will mean it's not particularly balanced, not particularly safe setups for the drivers, which means in turn that accidents may happen, incidents. People may drop it off the circuit, especially if they're stretching those strategy options here. So it is Flash in 4th, Mario in 5th place, Beregoz back to 3rd, and off in hunt of his podium mates there, BaloFey and Vader, who started on the medium tyre with him. So Beregoz will be hoping that he can use that tyre, that fresh tyre, to an advantage. It's difficult when you've switched on to the hard tyre to make that happen. And again, tremendously close driving here. Senor Dude's picked up the pace again, has not dropped further back, and got Skycloud in 8th. And then comes Senor Dude, Vicinity, and Scavvy, with the pitted drivers now starting to catch here. That's Scavvy on the tail end of this group. Here comes Vicinity, moving towards the inside on the approach into turn 7, the first chicane. Vicinity's going to brake late to the inside. Senor Dude leaves room, and that is how it's done. Fantastically done through from managed from Senor Dude. Vicinity couldn't find a way through. Scavvy gets the drive, gets the inside line, going into the first of our 2 hairpins, and should get the exit he needs to get into the second chicane comfortably here. BaloFey is into the pits. No surprises to see that Vader is the last of the top pace drivers to stay out on the next lap. That's going to help Beregoz, though. He's going to pick up that position. Some drivers will be hoping to pick up places here through that sequence as Yank the Tank is into the pits. Let's give you a different driver to watch. We will perhaps tune in with his teammate Scavvy, who has a car directly in front of him. The order at the front: Vader, Beregoz, BaloFey after the pit stop. BaloFey back out in 3rd position. Quick check on Flash in 4th. A little bit on his own here. I think might be feeling a little bit down that the drivers in front have pitted and come out in front of him already, especially BaloFey, who managed to extend that option forward. Bestie Mario in 5th on his own, so is Redux. Vader pits on lap 13 of the 47. Does that mean he could be thinking about a one-stop strategy here? Just going to check. Beregoz was hard tyres, wasn't he? BaloFey's gone for the hard tyres as well. Back to this this great battle then, as Skycloud is inching her way away from this midfield battle. Senor Dude likewise, actually. We've got Vicinity now protecting that front right. And then you've got Scavvy and Grizzle just behind. Grizzle on the new tyres here and being held up, you have to say. If qualifying pace was anything to go by, are we headed towards the pit lane for our drivers? No. Scavvy staying out, and that's going to mean that Grizzle has to do the work here on the track. Go very high around the outside, riding that outside curb all the way out on the marbles. Tremendous overtake from Grizzle that time. Really, really good work from him. Let's look back as how difficult that was out on the marbles as we go through. Braking up onto the curb and just praying that the Bugstein car doesn't wash out into his path. Well done to him, and both to him and Scavvy as well for completing that one. Vicinity has Mario right behind, and that's Jogon Sim going through past Scavvy, I think, and that's Grizzle getting caught up in it. Let's have a look what happened to Grizzle there. As he comes down into the corner, things looking fairly normal. Did he go through the corner slowly? He got offline, dirtied up the tyres, trying to rescue the car, and turns in on his rival Scavvy there, unfortunately. But certainly nothing deliberate about it, trying to rescue the car. That's all that was happening through that portion. Vader leads Beregoz and BaloFey on lap 14 of the 47. Red is cheering on Skycloud here, who has got into 6th position. Skycloud starting on the hard tyres, having a sideways moment, a little brush with the wall and the grass, but hopefully has avoided any grass going into the engine intakes here. Number 117 and Skycloud P6, and slowly but surely setting Some great laps out there on the hard tyre, 1 minute 17s for the last 7 laps on the trot. And SkyCloud doing a great job here. And as I said, going to try and be the first driver to win in all 3 of our cars. She's won in S2 and competed in AN. I'm not giving out any spoilers. Competed in AN in the previous race as Vicinity and Mario. Draw swords. Mario gets through nicely. And this would be something else, though, if SkyCloud can get a good result here in our top tier of racing, in the most specialized, most fractious, most difficult to drive car that we operate in SVR. Maybe not including the first sector and a half of this particular track and qualifying, certainly. Senor Dude pits now from his position, goes in. That's going to free up Grizzle, who is about to come upon Scabby's teammate, Yank the Tank, at this point. That's Scabby's POV. Let's give you a different driver to watch at this point then, shall we? Vicinity's very close to the car in front, as is Grizzle to Yank the Tank. Grizzle using the slipstream for a moment in towards turn 6. And you have to say, Yank being pretty kind through there, didn't fight that one. Gave him the inside, but he's fighting it on the way out. So down we go in towards the chicane of turn 7, where Grizzle managing then to get the car stopped accurately enough then through the next sequence. And I think, he's got a little bit of damage on his left rear suspension. So that is going to be upsetting the balance of the car, especially as he's turning to the right and asking the car to rotate neatly through the next few corners. Just have a look back. We've got the drivers here. We've got Redux in 5th, SkyCloud in 6th. Let's just check out what's going on at the front. Just double checking. Vader is lapping, or has lapped, the first driver so far. That looks to be possibly Soul Shock. It is Soul Shock at the back of the grid at the moment. Slightly out of sequence with pit stops. But Beregoz in P2 and BaloFey in 3rd place. Flash in that 4th place. We've got Redux in 5th. Another good looking result coming Redux's way, but SkyCloud is reeling in Redux to the tune of about half a second in the last half a second in the last lap alone. Actually, that's a big speed differential at this stage of the race. We're waiting, of course, for the hard starters to pit. This is one of them. Vicinity started on the back row of the grid, but is now in the midfield. Obviously, we'll be looking to make a pit stop soon, but not too soon as far as he's concerned. Vicinity then in P8 at the moment. Got Jogon Sim behind him, and then we've got Beregoz catching Soul Shock, I think, at the moment. No, who's that? That's Vader catching a different driver. I think Vader may have just had an issue for a moment. I think he suddenly lost some time, Vader. What was that last lap? No? Ignore me. It's obviously that that Soul Shock's been able to tag onto the back of Vader and make his way forward at a decent speed. This is Mario in 6th place, not letting SkyCloud get too far away. So the pit stop has happened for Redux. He's now on his way out of the pits. That's promoted SkyCloud, who started on the hard tyres, don't forget. So we'll be hoping to get at least half distance of this race before having to pit. I think lap 30 would be a great distance to make, and then run home on a 1-stop. But we shall see if that is going to be possible with a full tank of fuel at the start of the race. It certainly looks like it's going to be a challenge. I think 2-stop is going to be the way to go today. The top 3 started on the medium tyres, switched to the hards. Flash started on the hards. I don't think has pitted yet. Here he is, into the pits. So his hard tyres have cryo foul after just 18 laps. It's going to be a tough race for the drivers. What is SkyCloud doing? SkyCloud is now pitting. The drivers do get very close to the pit lane as they come through. Flash and SkyCloud into the pits. What about Vicinity? Vicinity looks to be the last driver to stop. That front right doesn't look too bad on Vicinity's car. Might get a couple more laps out of that before it starts to misbehave. 17.6. Vicinity's right there on pace in the race so far. So that is very similar to Skycloud's pace on the previous few laps. So Vicinity not lacking in pace, lacking a little bit out of qualifying, but something wasn't right during qualifying for our back three drivers. They were 3 seconds away from Vader's pace. Where Grizzle's in 8th. Looks like we've still got Jogon Sim, who's damaged the front left suspension at this point. The wheel not quite where he would like it to be. That looks a little bit tense and difficult as Joe and Vicinity battle. Joe was moving all over the place there to try and find a window of opportunity, found one, got his way in, and has made his way through and past Vicinity. So Vicinity covering the inside, and then Joe goes for it late. Vicinity closing the door as best as he can. Couple of little touches, I think, but I don't know. You'll have to make your own determination from that. I'm done calling any kind of contact decisions because obviously we have a bank of stewards who make those decisions with way more information than I have available to me through the replay and live action. But regardless, Jogon Sim is in front of Vicinity now and is back up to that 6th place. Vicinity reluctant to give that position away, but both on the same strategy here. So they started in very different positions, but clearly Joe has been off the circuit or made significant contact with something on that front right. Doesn't seem to be hurting him too much though at this point. That was obviously a much slower lap from Vicinity, that previous lap. I think that might be the indication that Vicinity needs that it's time to head in towards the pit lane for a change of tyres on the end of this lap 20. He would be the last standout unless I think Flash did pit, so I think that Vicinity would be the last one here. Skycloud is out on her 2nd set of tyres, that's a set of medium tyres, and I think asking those medium tyres to go further than the hards did is probably not going to happen. Redux in 11th, following Skycloud at this point. Skycloud's gap in front. That's a pit stop from Jogon Sim. That, for me, seems out of sequence, is it? Oh no, he was low on his hard tyres, and Vicinity, it looks like, almost tagging the pit wall on the way through. Vicinity staying out for the 21st lap here on the tyres. Jogon Sim then in for his first pit stop and back out again. In front of him we've got Senor Dude, some 4.4 seconds to the good. Redux just behind Skycloud, close enough to get dirty air, I think. But Redux looking pretty quick here. He's on the hard tyres to Skycloud's mediums, and yet Redux, who was 5th place, oh, just well held from him. And unfortunately, it's that's Senor Dude having a sympathy spin. Very easily done. Let's just check that out again. I was just wondering about style points here for the Jamplakt car in front, and it's through the next left-hander. Oh, just avoiding the wall. No, not quite avoiding the wall then, unfortunately for Senor Dude, but it was almost a reaction to what was happening in front. I see that really often. I've done it many times myself. As were Grizzle in 7th then, hassling, chasing down Vicinity, whose gap to the leader is 41 seconds. But that's not bad going by any stretch. From starting from the back row of the grid, he's actually gained some 5 or 6 positions at this stage. Hasn't pitted yet, but isn't losing a great deal of time to the leader. 17.4, 17.6. Obviously the bad lap with contact with Joe on lap 19. But Vicinity looks like he might well be able to get a much better result than qualifying was suggesting here earlier on. Let's give you a new driver to watch then, as I will give you, I think, BaloFey for a while. We haven't seen BaloFey as we're watching this battle between Vicinity and Grizzle. Vicinity protecting that front left nicely, but I would have imagined it's done by now. Let's wait and see if he peels left on the exit of this final corner. No, Vicinity is hanging out again astonishing stuff here from Vicinity. The tyre whisperer, 24 laps, 23 he'll try and do, I think. He feels good on it, so he feels like it's going to hold on. And as long, it's basically going to give you understeer rather than a rear limited track where you are going to get oversteer, and that's going to be harder to control. The understeer, you just have to be patient into the corners, and then you can get the power down as soon as the car will grip in. I say, with all of my 8 race league race experience coming to the fore here, but it does look like well, Grizzle has pace, but he can't quite unlock it at the moment. He's got a little bit of damage. He's hurt that front right. I think Grizzle has pitted already, and Vicinity I know has not. So that's interesting. I'm going to wait for Grizzle's tyre information to come up. Grizzle has done 13 laps on this tyre. So his hard tyre is looking almost as bad as Vicinity's, who's done 10 additional laps on it. Just to show you to what degree Vicinity is protecting that front left. He still doesn't pit. This is going to be the story of the race, I think, Vicinity. As he's getting down towards the canvas, you'll start to see a little bit of pickup on that front right tyre. I don't know if we can see it from the camera angle. It's not looking too bad. There's no obvious issue there for the tyre, but he's managed to open up a gap now to Woe Grizzle. Tremendous stuff then. So Flash in 5th place is only 1.2 from Bedsty Mario, who blotted his copybook a little bit by not realising that we have to stay off track in between sessions. So that kind of messed up the grid setting system. But he didn't know. He knows now, and I'm sure won't be doing that again. Bedsty Mario in P4. That looks like we're Grizzle Vicinity. Unfortunately, looks like that might have actually happened finally. Let's have a look. Is that going to be a problem for Vicinity, or just better traction? I think that is better traction. Nothing Vicinity did particularly wrong other than be on that hard tyre, and we're Grizzle back through and past Vicinity now. So at the end of lap 24, Vicinity stays out despite having a slower lap that time. Let's see, how slow was that lap? 18.9. I think he's pretty desperate to be able to one-stop this one, but wow. I wonder how much slower he has to go before he decides, no, I have to call it quits now on that tyre. Vader leads the race, 4.8 seconds only. He does have tyre life advantage over Beregoz. I don't think that's going to be enough to one-stop this race, so I think Beregoz is going to be still within sight of Vader, and by the qualifying gap, you wouldn't have expected that. It really looked like with an 0.8 of a second gap between the first and second positions in qualifying, you really would have thought that Vader would have been scoring, at least half that difference in every lap subsequent. This is Yank the Tank. What's going on with him? Why has Vicinity just caught Yank the Tank so quickly? Is this going to be an issue? This is Yank. Well, this had already happened, so I'm assuming that he'd perhaps been off circuit momentarily. Finally then, Vicinity pits and goes in at the end of lap 25. So has managed more than half distance here. The only driver to do so, as far as I know. Jogon Sim promoted to 10th. I'm fully expecting Vicinity to go down towards the back of the grid. And we have Senor Dude. And we have... that is his teammate. So that looks like it's Vader. About to pass Senor Dude here. For a lap. And there he goes then. Vader passing P12 on lap 20. Apologies if we just got a quick disconnection there. I'll make sure, hopefully, all should be okay. I think that should be all right now. Just confirm for me in the live chat, if you will, if we're all right. Vicinity on his way out of the pits in P10. Here he is. New set of medium tyres then, as we go through. and he's come out in 10th. So that long period on the hard tyres hasn't hurt him too much. He's gained 3 places from his start, 4 places at the moment from his start, and Mario pits for his 2nd stop already, just 1 lap after Vicinity's 1st stop was made. Vicinity coming through then in P10, takes P9, goes up to 5 places gained, just the same as Yank the Tank, who is right there. So fairly open gaps between the drivers at the moment. The majority of the field are on hard tyres at this stage. Here is Mario, new set of mediums with 20 laps to go. And Beregoz pits then to get off the hard tyres. I think that's not a case of the hard tyres being used up. That is a case of wanting to be on the mediums as early as he possibly can. Try and get the undercut here. The gap was about 4 seconds to Vader, 4.5 maybe. Vader to Beregoz before the pit stop. So we'll see how that works out on its way through then towards the end of the race. Beregoz, I'm assuming, now pitted to the end of the race. Let's just confirm that for you with the fuel calculator. Excuse me. Here is the fuel calculator for Beregoz, showing that he's fueled to lap 49, so slightly over-fueled actually. But that's obviously going to be a good position for him. So it's now time for Beregoz to really push on this lap and do his utmost here to make his laps count against Vader's slower laps, in theory. In theory. Vader declines the pit lane, running the hard tyres at the moment. Vader declines to pit to cover off what Beregoz is doing. So he's laid the gauntlet down to Beregoz and said, come get me. If you got the pace on those new tyres, I want the pace at the end of the stint against you, but I'm confident in my gap. So that lap for Vader was, well, we can't see that lap for Vader, unfortunately. The fastest so far is a 14.6. Vader was running 16.7 on the hard tyres through that run. Boladay, 17.2, and hasn't set a personal best for a long time. I imagine, though, Beregoz will be absolutely gunning it now. Firstly, to bring some heat into the hard tyres, and secondly, to try and gain position, gain time on Vader, who he will obviously be expecting to pit again. Into the pits comes another driver. That is now Grizzle, who was back with Vicinity again, unbelievably. This is the 2 Delesi cars. Beregoz just lapping Jogon Sim. Flash is 23 seconds away from the podium, but 9 seconds in front of Skycloud, who was at the back of the grid after lap 1, now in 5th place on merit. Will need to stop again, I feel fairly certain. I'm pretty sure only Vicinity is even trying this one stopper, and even then the laps previous for Vicinity were pretty slow. I think he's probably lost 3 or 4 seconds running that tyre as long as he did. So you can see we had a 118.9, a 119.4 on the in and out laps respectively. Obviously bringing that medium in as gently as possible, but losing time because he was in the pit lane just on the start of the lap as well. But Vicinity then in that P8, as you see how hard Beregoz is running at the moment. Is he about to put in a fastest lap at all? Nobody has yet dared to use the softs at the end of the race. They're only good for about 5 laps, so I imagine that would be down to damage. That's a 115.6 on lap 29 for Beregoz. For Vader, 16.6. So he's almost certainly just gained an entire second on... oh, my keyboard's not working. Sorry about that. So, yeah, almost certainly just gained at least a second. What's this lap looking like for him? 15.5. Another quick one to Vader. I'm sorry, I can't skip across. I wonder if my battery's run out on my keyboard here. Yes, I think it has. Dang. Okay. We may struggle to get replays now. So I'll do my best, see if we can. 16.7, 16.6, the last 2 laps from Vader. 15.5, 15.6 for Beregoz. I think that's 2 seconds gain now. And remember, Vader had something in the region of 4 in hand. What's happening at the back of the grid? We've got Scavy in 14th. We've got Solshock a long way back in 13th, a long way in front of Scavy in 13th place. That's 33 seconds. We have Jogon Sim in 12th and Senor Dude in 11. I think all the cars that are close to each other are the ones that are being lapped or doing the lapping. Were Grizzle in 10th, Mario in 9th. We have got Vicinity. Wow, making a great overtake past Redux. That's Redux on hard tyres, Vicinity on new mediums. And I think Redux just letting Vicinity through there. Unless Redux had a problem on the previous section. Oh, we can get replays. It's just the number buttons it doesn't like. Here he goes, down the inside. Great overtake from Vicinity. I thought I'd see if we could get a replay, and we can. He's just caught Yank the Tank, and this is a great period of the race for Vicinity. Some drivers have been on the hard tyres for an absolute age. Vicinity, remember, started in the penultimate position here, P13, now running P7, and one of our Season 1 veterans, Vicinity, getting tucked up. That was Redux getting a bit lively going out of the final corner. We'll just check that one out again. No, okay. Keyboard has let me down again. It's a Russian roulette keyboard right now as Vicinity comes through. I can't give you a better angle than this one. As Vicinity closes in, it's just going to be a pass to the inside, just like the previous lap. Successive passes on the circuit on successive laps for Vicinity, who holds firm down the inside line. He's much more confident on the brakes thanks to those medium tyres here. And Vicinity goes off in search of Skycloud, who is 9.2 seconds in front and has had a similar journey through the field. So that's not a change for position that will happen in front of Vicinity. That is the Buckstein Transport Service driver Scavy, who is in 14th position right now. Yank the Tank would be worth a watch, I think, on picture-in-picture, because he's got that driver Vicinity right in front. Skycloud pits then for her second pit stop. This will be a second set of tyres. And I really want to see what the comparison is going to be then between Beregoz at the moment, a 15.9, a 16.1, Vader, 17.1, 15.9, Vader. Decided to use some boost there. I think he's getting a bit nervous. His engineer will be talking to him about this pace differential to Beregoz. At this stage, if Vader pits again, and I'm expecting him to have to pit again, then I think Beregoz is in front of him. I think he has done the work that he needs to do. Now he's going to be following BaloFey at this stage. Transponder issue there for Beregoz on the tower for a moment, but resolving itself thankfully. So Beregoz is only 0.7 of a second away. As you can see, you've got Yank the Tank doing battle there with another driver. I don't think that's Bedsty Maro. That looks to be a Coach Dave car in front of Yank the Tank. So trying to make a lap to overtake, I think, at this point. 0.7 of a second, just 3/4 of a second separate second and third positions. 15.9 the last 2 laps from Beregoz. Up front, Vader is now starting to catch him, to at least match him. And I think that's about using the overtake. I think Beregoz... So I think engineer for Coach Dave is communicating the situation here, has been monitoring Beregoz's times and is telling Vader, okay, you need to now use that overtake because Beregoz is going to be ahead if you have to pit again. The gap, 14.7 seconds. The time loss in the pit lane without fuel, 14 seconds. It's, absolutely crazy stuff here. So close. to success. Beregoz, though, now, well, his pace, not too dissimilar to BaloFey. So I wonder if Beregoz decided that it's not worth trying to push past BaloFey. But BaloFey would have to do another 12 laps on that front right tyre. Well, all of his tyres, but that front right doesn't look like it's got 12 in it. It might be able to use softs at the end, though. Let's see. Vader will be protecting that front right more, as usual, with prodigious pace here. Vader's just got to be thinking about himself at the moment. Oh, and he's not protecting much. He's pushing. You can tell Vader is now pushing. And I think Vader's getting a little bit concerned about Beregoz and his pace. 15.8 that last lap. I think this one will probably be a little bit slower. But Vader, 15.5 from Vader, using that overtake as much as he possibly can. Here is Beregoz. Not really wanting to use any overtake, I think, at this stage to make the pass. I think he's just looking at holding on to what he's got left here. Use the toe for the pace. The 16.0, not hugely different following BaloFey. You've got to imagine this is affecting Beregoz and his position now. Mediums to hards, to a second set of hards for Beregoz here. I anticipate great overtake into turn 6 from Beregoz. That was using slipstream alone, I believe, on the way through. BaloFey down, so I think it's going to be medium, hard, medium. It's a yellow flag in front. Who has been off the circuit? Well, it's a Coach Dave, but don't get too excited because I think that was Senor Dude. Unfortunately, I can't get a replay at this current time. This is Scavvy, having just been lapped by car 45, who I believe is Flash. Let's just check on that one. Vader pits now. No, Flash is 79, so 45 is Redux. Vader pits. Beregoz is in second. I don't know how he's suddenly 15.6 seconds behind Vader. I wonder if, yeah, he had to delay coming through. Perhaps. Where is Vader? He's out in front, and he's going to be on medium tyres. That's really going to hurt Beregoz, who had to hesitate through the first chicane because of Senor Dude's yellow flag. And BaloFey pits and comes back out in third place. But Beregoz, I think, lost time through that previous lap. And now, unfortunately, he doesn't have track position versus Vader. He also has an awful lot less push to pass overtake. So, unfortunately, it is going to be about whether Vader makes a mistake here, but Beregoz will be giving it absolutely everything. The gap is 3.3 seconds only between the two. Red asks me, I'm sure quite a long time ago, no, how are Skycloud's tyres? Well, she's come out on her second set of mediums, so her tyres are golden. She's looking good. She's catching Vicinity, who's made it all the way up to 5th place from 13th. Vicinity. Skycloud, though, a similar climb here and a very impressive run of pace here from Skycloud. She's got a good amount of overspeed here. Got the inside line heading into turn 6 and another overtake through turn 6 on the inside. Vicinity looking to cut back and go side by side. Down the hill they drop. Vicinity has managed to get the inside line here and he holds on. And it's Vicinity versus former reserve teammate Skycloud, now in the S1 division. And Skycloud looking for an opportunity down the outside. It becomes the inside into the first hairpin. Vicinity tries to close the door, get into the traction zone on the outside of the corner. But it looks like Skycloud is through and into 5th place. And that was a patient, respectful race between the two. Tremendous stuff. Oh, Skycloud almost grounds the car out on these sky-high curbings in the exit of the second chicane, but Skycloud just breaking the toe as well, going to the right hand side and into 5th place. The Dutch newcomer here, who has been setting the league alight, and that was a special one from Skycloud. Next mission, catch Flash, 7.3 seconds away, with 9 laps to go. It's on. It's on, isn't it, for Skycloud to get P4 from the back. Vicinity's in P6. This is Beregoz, who's just dropped 4 seconds. How? How has he dropped 4 seconds to Vader? I guess Vader's just done a 1:13.1. Wow. A 1:13.1 from Vader. Just letting Beregoz get close enough to hope, and then hitting that push to pass button and getting a 1:13.1 on this new set of tyres. I wonder if Beregoz will be rethinking his strategy after the race here. Holiday's looking good for a potential podium for Team Mega, and as Team Mega fight Delesi, it is going to be a fantastic battle in the second half of the season in the Master Championship standings, as we showed at the start of today's broadcast. Flash is in 4th place, showing very well indeed, but SkyCloud is now 8 seconds away from Flash, so that has opened slightly. SkyCloud needing, I think, to cool the tyres after passing Vicinity. Vicinity is 1 minute exactly away from Vader's lead on lap 39. Looks like Joe's just made an overtake, has he? That looks to be Redux in 11th. I think maybe it had been off the circuit or just been in the pits. And I think that was off the circuit because it looked like the car in front of him has just unlapped himself against Redux. Redux has almost unfortunately been at the opposite story of Vicinity and SkyCloud. There have to be losers in a race when you get drivers moving forward, of course. Panic stations there as the transponders for 3 of our top drivers dropped out all of a sudden. But Redux is in 11th. That looks to be, who is that in front of Redux? Let's get on board with... Oh, I can't get on board. Okay, let's get on board this way with Redux. See if we can find out who that is in front. And I will try and find you the closest gap, or an interesting driver that we haven't seen much of recently. We'll follow with Betsy Mario. Let's select him, shall we, on our picture-in-picture. I imagine most drivers will be set for the end of the race. Big thanks to Beregoz for the overlays and look at Mario with his heart rate. I love it. I want to copy it. I want to get it on my stream, but my heart rate monitor isn't compatible with the app, unfortunately. So I'm struggling, but that's fantastic. I love the green screen as well from Mario. Great to see. Redux setting a personal best on this lap. As I say, I'm without my keyboard, so I can't skip across the circuit nicely for you, unfortunately. Where Grizzle in 9th place has Jogon Sim some distance behind, who is, well, getting a blue flag. This is Redux in 11th, Senor Dude in 12th. Big gaps then between the drivers. Soulshock in 13th has a close gap to Senor Dude, a 1.6 second gap at the moment with 7 laps to go. Is anybody tight on tyres or fuel? I think most drivers are okay that I've seen at the moment. You can see slightly blurred effect. I wonder if that's heat haze coming off the rear wing of Scavy's car in 14th place. Got lots of drivers on the start-finish straight. Not many of them are actually together in terms of position on the circuit. It is 5 to go then in our S1 race. Vader leads by 11.7 seconds. Has backed up that 13.1 with a 15.3 and 2 late 1 minute 14 laps. And Beregoz is on the hard tyre, has absolutely no answer to Vader. Unfortunately, had he been able to get by Vader through the pit stop sequence and hold on to that track position, we'll never know, but Vader had half of a tank of his overtake boost remaining to him. So it does seem like Vader's pace was far too superior today. BaloFey currently riding 22.4 seconds away from Vader, 9.5 away from Beregoz. Looks like these 3 are pretty much nailed on for this position. Try and catch what was going on in the background there. But the gap between Flash and SkyCloud now opening out. SkyCloud protecting the tyres. Flash able to push much harder, I think. So it looks like SkyCloud may not be able to challenge for 4th place. Here is Vicinity in P6. Yank the Tank super close behind. Now just 0.5 of a second, and Yenk trying to get his revenge for earlier on, and Vicinity got him down into turn 6. I wonder if it'll be a similar position on the track. Vicinity has pitted, I think, for a second time. I think Vicinity has gone for a second set of mediums here with, I think, 6 to go. So that is a shame, because I thought he might be able to at least use the softs, if not use one stop this race. But he has come out. Oh, Yenk over and out and into the barrier, and that's a head-on into the arm coat. So easy to do, and he will have damage on the car. He may have to pit. Drops down to 9th place. That is huge shame for Yenk the Tank. It's going to allow Vicinity to breathe a little bit easier there in that P6, as Joe has Chris cheering on Vader and Senor Dude for the Coach Dave supremacy. Absolutely, certainly in S1, but come back to me when you've looked at the combined championship standings and tell me where Coach Dave are. Besley Mario running in P7 at the moment. There's Vicinity dropping a further 6 behind SkyCloud, but that's due to the pit stop. Now Vicinity can have some fun out there. Doesn't have a lot of overtake remaining, but I'm assuming we'll get to push now a decent amount. Mario is only 3.2 seconds away from his teammate Grizzle after Mario's second pit stop. Car number 53, which I think was Herbie's number. I think that's right. And Redux in the 45. Yamplact Interiors. Big thank you, of course, to all of our sponsors: Brokaga, Yamplact Interiors, Coach Dave, to Buckstein Transport Service, to Mega Transport and Delesi, for all of their support this season. It has been absolutely fantastic. And let's not forget Kimmy's nursery and preschool as well. Soulshock in P13 at the moment. Pablo cheering on Vader and Senor. It is a Spanish dominant team now that they've got Hervas and also Apex not found. So there's a lot of Spanish spoken. And Senor Dude, if he doesn't speak Spanish, well, he ought to really with that name. So I'll need to get an update on that, whether he's an honorary Spaniard or Spanish speaker. We shall see. We've got Scavy in 14th. He's got blue flags at the moment. He's got, I think that might be Boliday, might be Vicinity, catching him right now. 2 to go, plus the one that the leader is on at the moment. Anyway, Vader, 17 seconds in the lead now. He let it get close. He let us get excited about the prospect of a battle for the lead, and then he just disappeared, as you would imagine. He engaged hyperdrive and away he went. Vader in first position, obviously 17 seconds in the lead. Had a gap of 0.8 of a second in qualifying. Hasn't quite translated to race pace, but it certainly has in this third phase of the race, thanks to his great pace on the new medium tyres. Beregoz had to pit too early off his set of hards in order to put a new set of hard tyres on, but has definitely had pace over BaloFey, who I presume is now needing to protect a little bit the front right tyre. Out of the pits comes, I think that was a Brokaga. It was directly behind and between P2 and P3. Flash is in 4th place at the moment and had a very, very lonely race of it. Flash, no contact, no argy-bargy, no difficulties as far as I can tell. He's had to lap some drivers, but that's about it for Flash. His pace sitting him in 4th at the start, stayed 4th, and no one's really been near him. I think it would have been a different situation had SkyCloud got through those first few laps unscathed. But what a tremendous debut in S1, showing that SkyCloud absolutely belongs in the top tier of racing and should never be allowed near the bottom tiers of racing ever again. So speaks a driver in the bottom tier of racing. But SkyCloud has proven her mettle. in all the cars so far. Vicinity is in P6. And it's saying final lap for Vicinity, so it must be final lap for our leader, Vader. 19 seconds to the good. He's just going to drain the fuel, drain the rush away as well. Pablo enjoyed the race for AN. Pablo, you're going to have to let me know if you are Hervas or someone else. Are you a friend of the league? I haven't seen you comment before, but Jailhouse is trying out his Spanish. Fantastic. Okay. We had that yesterday, didn't we, Jailhouse? Your Spanish attempt. Vader in P1 then coming through, and it's all looking pretty straightforward. That's Beregoz passing a driver there. That's BaloFey having to do the same. But Vader enters the final corner, some 20 seconds ahead of his nearest rival. Vader, imperious, on top, and winning in Kyoto Driving Park once again, and dominant from the Dark Lord of the Sith. Congratulations to him and to Coach Dave for the win. Here comes Vader. Here comes Beregoz, championship contender against and challenger, and it's going to be super tight between himself and BaloFey. I wonder if BaloFey's got any overtake left. Look at this, 1/10 of a second on the line, but Beregoz just hangs on to those hard tyres to the end of the race, and BaloFey in third place by 1/10 of a second between the two of them. This is how far Flash is back, 39 seconds away from the podium. We've got time to say GG's to Vicinity in 6th, Grizzle in 7th, Bedsty Mario in 8th, Redux in 9th, Yank in 10th, Joe, Send Your Dude, Soulshock and Scavvy. And back to Flash then as we go into the final corner for the number 79 driver for Yamplact Interiors. Another fantastic performance then from Flash. Here he comes to cross the line in 4th place. His first feature drive in the S1 division as Skycloud, who was at the back after lap 1, debuts and crosses the line in 5th in our top tier of Formula Racing. Fantastic from Skycloud, great from Flash and from Vicinity, but it's all about Vader once again here, who got absolutely everything out of the race. Pole position, fastest lap I am certain of, with a 13.1 and a clean race bonus as well. There it is, fastest lap for Vader. Tremendous stuff from him. Beregoz in 2nd, BaloFey from Flash, Skycloud, Vicinity, Grizzle, Bedsty Mario in 8th place. Redux, Yank, Joe, Send Your Dude, Soulshock and Scavvy fulfill the 14 drivers that started, the 14 drivers that finished, and a tremendous run then from our drivers. Congratulations to them. Thank you so much everybody who's taken the time to take part in today's race. You know how to say thank you. You know what to do with the various channels here at SVR. Please visit the QR codes on the splash screen that was created by Senior Dude, and subscribe to SVR Racing. I hope you subscribe to Webber Commentary as well. But thank you so much to everybody. That was a really, really good one. We will wait to see if the stewards have anything to say, but I don't think the podium is going to be in a lot of doubt. Congratulations to everybody. Great race. Great race and great division. Stay tuned, of course, to my channel later in the week for the AN division and the S2 race on Thursday evening UK time, but same time, different place over on my channel for G1 here next week. Thanks everybody. I will see you very soon, and we will catch you on the next race day.